Hey, how's everyone doing?
There it is.
There it is. We got Rob from SpaceArchives today. Hey, Rob, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Well, hopefully the internet connection here in Osaka will, cooperate. But we're here today to talk about this fantastic adventures pulp magazine from October 1945. And mine barely held together for the reading. I think Rob's is in better shape. But before we get into that, let's just talk a little bit. Rob, you want to talk a bit about your booktube journey so far? You want to talk a little about your channel? I'm guessing anyone. Oh, there I go.
You okay?
I hope so. Again, if this happens, then just fly on in. We got Chadwick here, and we got
Ariane's here.
Ariane. Hi, Ariane. How are you? And Chadwick. And we got Mark from Richardson's Reads here. Sorry, Mark. Okay. I'm gonna manage. Okay, we got 7 people. Looks like nice. Okay. All right, Rob. Sorry. Do you want to just talk a little bit about your channel and how's it been going for you? It seems like you're off to a fantastic start.
Oh, I am. I'm surprised when I started this channel. Because I don't have any other social media. I mean, YouTube is it, and I didn't advertise it to anybody. So I was honestly expecting the only 2 people ever to watch my channel was going to be my wife and my sister-in-law, and that was it. And I made some comment on Andrea's channel because I had those, YouTube jitters and stuff. My stomach was knots right after I made that introduction video, and
which was fantastic, by the way.
And I calmed myself down by watching other booktubers. So we had just found Andrea's channel like 2 weeks earlier. So my wife was like, "Well, let's watch some of her backlog," and we saw a video from a year ago saying, "So you're scared to start a YouTube channel?" And I watched that, and it really released all the knots in my stomach. So I just made a comment saying, that I appreciated. I only wish I'd watched that video 24 hours earlier, because I wouldn't have been stressing for 24 hours. And then I went to bed, and I woke up with all these notifications, and I was like, "What the F has just happened?" And Andrea.
I think also fantastic. I think Gareth at Book Songs and Other Magic shared your channel, and
yeah, well, she initially shared it and posted it and commented, and then Chris at Liminal Spaces then reposted it and shared it, and then Uncle Jimmy from News of the Gelding.
That's right.
And my job at the time, they would text me nonstop all day long, so I had all these notifications dinging while I was trying to sleep. And I thought, "Oh, what the hell do they want?" And then I looked at my phone, and I was like, "Holy crap!" So, and it's funny because like I said, I thought that my wife and my sister-in-law would be the only ones to watch this video, and I said, "That's okay. I'm just going to keep putting them out, and maybe 6 months from now, I'll actually get halfway decent at this." And I said, "Oh crap! I need to learn how to do this now."
Well, you did pretty good from the get-go, I thought, but. Yeah, well, I think everyone really enjoys. I think here. Well, here, let's see. We got
David's here.
Rajgeek.
Hey, David.
And we got Dwarven Dad. Hey, how you doing? All right. And I think we got a fair amount of people watching, so we can kick in anytime to the poll. But I just wanted to say I think your channel's great, and you're doing an awesome job. And I'm always surprised and amazed and amused at your creative, your whole blockathon. Just the idea was so creative. It must have taken so much work.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because I thought, "Oh, this is going to be easy. I just have to film myself sitting in a chair reading a book, and then I just write a script and read through it." And then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh crap, I got to come up with 2 different voices." And sportscasters talk quick and never have any silent moments. So no matter how much I wrote, I like, that's not enough. I have to write more.
So do you often write a script?
Turned out. What's that?
Yeah, it turned out great. Yeah, do you usually write a script, Rob?
Most of the time. When I'm doing something like that, I have to, because there's just no way. There's too much voiceover trying to match up to a video that you have to script it out. If I'm just talking about book reviews and stuff, then no.
All right, we have Rob is a natural and so entertaining. Very true. Very true. I'm very happy to have him on for a
And
live.
Ariana's one that's been there from the beginning too. Thank you.
And we got the Beast Reads. Rob makes me feel unfunny.
That is
join the crowd.
True. Definitely not
join the crowd. Yeah. Well, I think we're really excited to see. And now that you might have a bit more time on your hands, sounds like you'll be able to do even more, hopefully. So that's the only thing between you and like Brian at Bad Taste Books. Don't get a chance with your busy work schedules to post as much as we might like. So
well, I'm going to try to. I don't know whether I'm going to post more, but I'm also going to take the opportunity to try and actually get some writing done too. So it'll be a nice combination of both. Finally, doing things that I actually like.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. Well, I'm guessing your story will be in the running for one of Jake's next projects there. So I threw my hat in the ring, but I haven't written fiction in so long. I'm a little intimidated. My mind seems bereft of ideas at the moment. So I don't know what this is in relation to Flash. But
right there, he's talking about my Flash poster behind me.
Oh, Queen. Right. Yeah, Queen. That's probably the best part of that movie, although the movie is fun. I've probably watched it about 6 times just, over the years. But, let's get into the pulp, the reason we're here today. You want to talk a little bit about how you got these pulps? I know Nick,
these were, that's better.
Well, I'll show mine too, just so that we're little pieces of paper flying out of the thing. Yeah. That's whenever I read it, little bits were falling off. But yeah, this is a cover by J. Allen St. John, who did a lot of Burroughs covers, I think, for Burroughs stories in the day, or maybe interior art. You might know more about that than me, Rob. But I have to say, this is not one of his most impressive pieces.
No, but it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. That is true of a scene. They're not on. Well, I think Toka's on top, but we'll get to that. But that does not look like a T-Rex. Let's put it that way.
It also does not look like a big snake, which is what they keep calling.
Yeah, they always call them big snakes, don't they? Yeah. Did you first though? You remember you did a video where you did your gangster impression about picking up these pulps. This was one of that batch. Was that right?
Yes. Yeah. This all comes from Uncle Aldo's attic. There was just a huge stack of these. And sadly, a lot of them we'll get into it later, but a lot of them were part of the Shaver Mysteries, but that's all right. Well, that's why they were so cheap. That's why they were so inexpensive. They're not exactly collector's items.
Nick got this one for me and sent it along with the other one I have over here, which is from 1951. So it's one of the Howard Brown ones. So it's probably better quality content, but it's only $6 and I can see why, I guess. Although, did you notice that Lulu, I guess they're maybe desktop publishing company or whatever, Lulu has about 50 of these Fantastic Adventures that that are reproductions, including this one, that they're vary between like $13 and $20. They're like the new reproduction, I'm assuming, but I don't know if I would be putting it for this one, but there's a couple of Burroughs Carson of Venus novellas that
that'd be all right.
That I might get. All right, here we go. We got some other people. We got Deb. Hi, Deb. We got Andrea.
My captain.
Thank you, Andrea. And then we got Nick Pulp. Yep.
Nick,
you're partly responsible for this because I saw that you got that for me, and then that Rob picked up the same pulp, and I said we gotta do something about this. Well, Rob, you want to talk a bit about? You want to talk about this? Are we good at the cover? Maybe I should get the. Let's pull up the contents page here. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Let me get I made a few scans, and let me get that contents page here. Go ahead, Rob. Anything you want to say, please go right ahead.
Well, mostly I feel like this probably should have gone to Jake because I think this story belongs on his channel. This is,
So,
by the way, might be good cop, bad cop. Jeff will find
well,
the silver. Jeff will find the silver linings, and I will tear it apart.
there is a silver lining, but it is a mess. Let's
There
say
is.
the majority of this issue is this 75,000 page novel
Yeah.
by J.W. Pelkey. Now, you want to talk a little bit about Pelkey, Rob? Who is
Yeah.
Pelkey exactly?
So this in the front cover here, we have this biography of James Pelkey sitting there with his dear mom, who he lives with, and they, enter stories into contests together, and they have this whole biography on him. That is not a picture of Pelkey or his mom,
Because there is
because
no Pelkey.
there is no Pelkey. He doesn't exist. But the funny thing is, if you put up that editor's note, do you have that editor's page? Was that one?
I don't think I copied the editor's
Okay.
page. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. It's this is the editor's notebook, and the editor of this is Raymond Palmer, who is an infamous figure in these pulp magazines. But in this, he talks about this newly discovered writer, Pelkey, who he compares to Edgar Rice Burroughs. And
Yes.
Pelkey is Raymond Palmer. He's writing his own biography and then promoting him, which Palmer is notorious for. He's sort of like a wannabe cross between P.T. Barnum and L. Ron Hubbard, only without the skill set. So yeah,
but he was successful in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah,
for a while.
Oh yeah, and
he was a good huckster showman sort of guy.
Yeah, depending on what your definition of a good editor is. If a good editor is somebody who curates well-made stories, he was horrible. If it's somebody who will increase sales of a magazine, he was fantastic. In fact, so he wrote. He's responsible for what's known as the Shaver Mysteries, which that started 2 years after this, 2 or 3 years in 1945. When people would send letters to the editor, he got this letter from Richard Shaver.
Some kind of whack job guy.
Yeah, yeah, and he told him about this secret language of the earth that was this universal language that was given off by the earth and everybody could understand. And Palmer wrote him back, asked him to explain more. And he wrote this long thing about how he is working in this factory and he could hear these voices talking, and he discovered, and this may all seem familiar to you because this is where it all started. Underground reptilians living in the city underground.
Yeah, wasn't there two supposed warring races or opposing
warring races? These
the Darrow and the Tarot or something like that.
And these underground people would come up and abduct women and basically the Hollow Earth there, everything you can imagine comes from these Shaver mystery stories. And Palmer, being the P.T. Barnum kind of guy he is, asked if he could rewrite this in prose form. So he started writing these Shaver mysteries, but writing them as if they were factual stories, factual accounts of real things that happened. And he started filling up amazing stories at the time, and also in some of the fantastic adventure stories with these Shaver mysteries, to the point where he would, we talked about this earlier, he would refuse stories from people like Ray Bradbury just so he could fit more Shaver mysteries. He started hiring other authors, other writers to also write these Shaver mystery stories in. And you can trace, all the conspiracy theories, the old Art Bell radio show, QAnon, all those theories all come from this guy promoting it. Now, Shaver was later found out that he did hear voices because he was diagnosed as schizophrenic and had been in an insane asylum. But
we should also mention that that Palmer went on to found Fate magazine and publish a bunch of UFO books and things.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and also that under his tenure with all these crazy stories, he got amazing circulation up to what? Sometimes 200,000, 250,000
he
issues sold.
he lost a lot of the hardcore science fiction fans who used to subscribe, but he gained all the conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
And what he would do is when people would complain about the Shaver stories, in the letters to the editor, he was the editor, so he would bury those, and he would actually write his own letters to the editor into his own story and publish them as saying how much they loved the Shaver stories and please give me more. And it wasn't until Ziff Davis, who the company that owned Amazing Stories and Fantastic Adventures, I can't remember Ziff's first name, but Mr. Ziff realized he was becoming a laughing stock.
That they put the brakes on it a bit.
So he told them no more Shaver mysteries, and that's when Palmer created his own magazine, Other Worlds. And while he was still collecting a check from Amazing Stories.
Yeah, he was funding his new venture there. Yeah.
And then that's when he went to the science fiction convention. I can't remember where it was at, where he was going to promote Other Worlds. And that's where he found B. Mahaffey, a super sci-fi fan. And I mentioned that in the Theodore Sturgeon story. And he hired her as his personal assistant on the spot at that convention. And then just like weeks or a month later, he fell down some stairs and broke his spine. And he was in the hospital for like a month. And he just started this new magazine. So he promoted B. Mahaffey to be editor. And eventually she would stay as assistant editor for the next several magazines that he created, Super Science, Universe, all these other magazines. And she was actually, that was the best thing he did because she was an amazing editor. But they always co-edited, and you could tell which magazines she did and which ones he did because she would get people like Theodore Sturgeon, Ray Bradbury, Isaac Asimov, and he would do, these conspiracy theory stories.
Well, apparently we should catch up with some comments, Rob.
But sorry.
Apparently, they were some of the stories from those big name writers where they were bad enough that they couldn't place them anywhere else. So they would take them sometimes.
Yeah, that is true.
Some of them were good. Like the Sturgeon story you mentioned, that was the first one that showed a positive depiction of homosexuality there, right? So, okay, we got Jake. What's up, players? And Deb saying hi to us. Hi, Deb. And David having a conniption over you handling the way you handled your pulp there.
They were meant to be read to death.
That's true.
They were
meant to be. And also his is in much better shape than mine, David, which is very precarious. I had to be very careful with it. Okay, what do we got here? We got a lot of comments to catch up here. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, that book is thick. It is. It's what, 179. They count that inside back flap with some J. Allen St. John. Is that his name? Art as part in the contents page. I was looking for where's 179. I don't see 179, and then I saw the page number on the inside cover. But V, the final battle meets the UK royal family. No abducted men, that crushes a lot of current psychology. Hey, we got Mark. Hey, Glock, how you doing, Mark? Thank you for showing up. Okay, what else here? We got Deb saying hi to Mark. We got David, unethical but hilarious.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay, we got Richard. Hey, Richard. Never thought of writing comments to my own videos until now. Yeah.
There you go.
Gotta hand it to this Palmer guy. He was a huckster extraordinaire.
Yeah. In fact, he was at one point wanting to figure out how to do like L. Ron Hubbard and turn this whole cult into something he could make money off of, but he didn't have the sense to make some sort of god that somebody could worship and give him money for. It's like anybody.
He wasn't quite as creative as L. Ron Hubbard, but I think that's what the serious sci-fi writers and fans were saying, is he was creating kind of a cult, right? Yes, he did create Fate magazine, Nick. Yep. He did. Plus, he wrote. Didn't he publish a couple of UFO early UFO books?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I can see myself starting a flame war with myself. Yeah. Eriko is here. Hi, Eriko. Can you dig it? Okay. And Cyclone. Okay. Talking about some bad weather stuff there. Did you ask Rob how he became so cool yet, Jeff? I kind of did, but not live yet, Andre. I'll do that later. They were meant to be read to death. Well said. Rob is smart. Yes. So that's, definitely what they were meant to be like. So, okay. Jeff, ask Rob if it's true that he once offed a man with a toothbrush. Is it true, Rob?
It's a lie. It's a lie.
Okay. It's a bald-faced lie. It's a legend.
It's something Raymond Palmer invented about me to try and discredit me.
Yeah. Ray Palmer is still active from beyond the grave. Well, yeah, so he was quite a guy. I don't know, Rob, do you want to say anything more about Palmer? I mean, you guys, I recommend everyone read his Wikipedia entry. It's massive. It's very convoluted.
It is huge. Yeah, and he would go back and forth between claiming that he actually believed the Shaver stories and then in private tell people it was just to sell magazines. So
yeah, I think he said that to apparently Harlan Ellison, didn't he? That
yes.
He confided to him that it was all hucksterism. But didn't apparently this Shaver guy move next door to Palmer for a while?
Yeah, and they had a fallout for a little while, but they reconciled because Palmer stayed at Shaver's house one time, and then he wrote a story.
Voices.
Yeah, he claimed he heard voices and all this. And Shaver, who took this seriously because he actually did hear voices because he's schizophrenic, said, wait, no, that never happened. So it suddenly dawned on Shaver that Palmer was just making things up and not promoting what he thought was a true story. They eventually made up, but he was angry with Palmer for that.
Yeah, I think Palmer eventually wasn't there one right when he saw that interest was dying in this Shaver thing, that he published both a Shaver story with lots of quotes about supposedly true, and then he published also some debunking sort of piece as well in the same issue or something.
That sounds very much like something you would do.
Well, let's he's a really interesting fellow, and the fact that he wrote as Pelkey this full-length and very strange sub-Burroughsian ERB sort of story we're going to get into here in a bit because it kicks off this issue. But let's take a look at some of the other contents here. We're going to get to these stories later. This is the story content. There's other departments as well. We have Through a Dead Man's Eyes, and they give the kind of exact word count, which is interesting. Does this usually happen in pulps that you've seen, Rob, where they give the word count?
I'm not. I think I've seen it before for the novels. I'm not sure if I've ever seen it. I'd have to look. I guess I've never really paid that close of attention. I know that this particular magazine, it doesn't have all the cool ads that you normally would see because this was put out during the paper rationing
this is one of
World
I think
War
this
II.
is one of the 5 issues that came out in 1945 at the end of the war there, and they were talking in that editor's note that you mentioned that some here, let me get this off of there, that some that they wanted to increase the size, like double the issue, which sounds wacky to me. I don't think they ever got that far, but they I'm sure there was a paper shortage probably during that time.
Yeah, they were still under the paper rationing from World War II. It still lasted on into this year. So
yeah, because this is from October, so this would have been after World War II officially ended, right? If I'm remembering what am I doing? I'm sorry, Rob. I hit the wrong thing.
Yeah, but the paper rationing still lasted for about another year after the war ended, or 2 years after the war ended.
So here, October 45, volume 7. So it's the 7th year. So we should talk a little bit about that Fantastic Adventure. Started in 1939 and was canceled or folded in 1953, March 1953. And after this crazy Palmer guy left to do his Other Worlds magazine, another editor that I think took over from Palmer at Amazing, Harold Howard Brown. Is that right, Rob? Is it Howard Brown?
I think
want
so.
to call him Harold Brown, but he took over.
I
and all
didn't
of
do
a sudden
research notes for other magazines.
Well, apparently he was much better editor, and he got a lot. Apparently the quality of the fiction really jumped.
Yeah.
And if you look at, and I recommend, I don't have any of them here now, unfortunately, but as far as the other covers of this magazine, but the covers are pretty amazing, and I'd say they rival or sometimes even beat Weird Tales for cool weirdness and luridness.
Yeah.
But they have maybe under his tenure, fantastic, even though it was kind of maybe an also ran in some ways. It did publish some pretty good authors. I've noticed here.
Oh yeah.
You mentioned Theodore Sturgeon, Lester Del Rey, William Tenn. Mac Reynolds' first short story was published in it. John Jakes, Robert Bloch, Henry Kuttner, Clifford D. Simak had a story in there. Raymond F. Jones, Eric Frank Russell, and Edmund Hamilton all appeared, and Edgar Rice Burroughs.
Yeah, I have quite a few that have some great stories in them, some great authors in them, but this isn't one of them. Well,
no,
that's not true.
This one.
There are some good stories in here, but the one that takes up the majority of this issue, I think that's why they were trying to double the issue. It was just he wanted to fit more of his own word count in there.
I was checking if this ever got its own book paperback publication, because it'd be one for Jake to cover on his channel. He would have fun with it because it is wacky. Well, let's see. We got a
I can mail it to you, Jake.
Let's get to some comments, and we'll get into that first story. So Richard says, curious which nonfiction books about SF you guys would recommend. Biography starting to become a niche I really enjoy reading. Rob's probably a much better expert than that than me, Richard. I just have the Encyclopedia of Science Fiction and a few other things, but
yeah, I don't have a whole lot of biographies. Richard actually has the one that I would like on Alice Sheldon, the James Tiptree story. That's one that I would like to find.
Well, I know he talked about one on his channel about was written about, was it a Dutch guy, French guy? It was somebody who was a fan that did like a scholarly talk about science fiction and what he thought made a good science fiction story. That was an interesting video that Richard did. Glock says, I don't worry about the voices in my head. I worry about the voices in Jake's head. Okay, well, let's see. Okay. Ariane was also wondering about the good nonfiction books on science fiction.
No, sadly, no Rosicrucians.
No Rosicrucians. No, there weren't. No. You would think this would be the place where you would see it. I think in his Other Worlds magazine, it might have showed up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Once they started having advertising again, then they showed back up.
Don't now keep it clean, David. Okay. Jake's voice is in our heads. That's true. Yes, yeah, and especially his squeaky pretend wife voice. All right. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, he was correcting that there. Okay, Richard, stop being so silly. I'm actually right behind you. Frustrated that I don't recognize any names and thus cannot thrill with my pulp literature acumen. Well, if we were getting into movies or anything, Chadwick, you'd have us all stumped, I'm sure, because your knowledge of that, movies and TV, is really high. Well, I know nothing about pulps if they are old, so I'm the bottom feeder. No, you have quite a few pulps of your own that you got a hold of, David. I'm waiting for you to do a review of one of those Western pulps. All right, well, why don't we then, after just a quick look at the... we won't talk about them much because there's these little departments that are in the mag, but did you want to, I know you read these more fully than I did. Rob, you want to talk about any of these little departments here? The letters page was fun, and introducing the authors was funny, especially by J.W. Pelkey, meaning Raymond Palmer himself, but anything else that you stood out to you in these little snippets that they would intersperse?
Oh, I read everything in order. Let me see.
Did you want to go in order? Okay, well, we can go in order if you want. That's fine. I don't have many scans.
That's
of
all
those.
right.
Fascinating stuff like plywood in science and romance of the elements, stories of the stars about the Andromeda galaxy, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And Leif Erikson. So kind of a grab bag of pseudoscience and science fact, I guess. And
yes, all the latest technologies in plywood.
yes. And we got an illustrated history of tin, which was not the most interesting, I guess. Well, let's pull up the, let me get this first page of King of the Dinosaurs up here by J.W. Pelkey, a.k.a. editor Raymond Palmer. Now, did you catch who the artist was? The artist credit for this one, Rob?
It was
novel?
Seward, Seward, and I could find absolutely no information on this person. But
well, this is a very strange, but intermittently exciting novel. I would say is my good cop take on it. I'm going to let Rob do the bad cop take on it. But you want to do a kind of a summary of what we're talking about here, Rob?
Oh dear God!
Or would you like me to do it, and then you can come in and destroy it?
Yeah, I don't let me relive this.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I didn't know that it was quite so traumatic for you because I was starting to get into it a little bit, but there
were parts of this that in better hands could have been done better. But well, I'll get to the big one that will count. I know me and Deb out of this story, and that's
well, the
ball.
Science, the lack thereof, anyway.
Well, no. It's me and Deb had a conversation about sports ball, and
well, yes. Well, we'll get into that because that's the really goofy, wacky aspect of the story. And if they took that out of it, this probably would have been better. But still have problems. But essentially, our hero is Toka, and over a kind of dense first several pages, as he is leading a group through some dangerous dinosaur-ridden territory. They have this big tiered city, like I guess a kind of ziggurat. Am I imagining that correctly? That goes way up the hill. And they have 25 levels. And we find out that he's the son of the ousted king, and that some nasty dude, shaved everywhere, super strong dude named Kola, Kola, has taken over, usurped the kingdom, and enslaved all the others. And so he's out collecting these berries that are the chief source of this kind of energy or power. They have a big dinosaur fight. And basically we find that Toka is planning a rebellion against, to bring peace back to his little kingdom there. And this city is facing out about this huge plain and a lake where there's all these different dinosaurs that are not described in any sort of real detail, particularly other than some have horns and some have spikes. And things are going along pretty interestingly once the story does kick in. And all of a sudden, we're presented with dinosaurs playing baseball with people.
With people being used as the ball.
Being used as the ball. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
and calling the ump.
And they use their tails as the baseball bat. But it isn't a form of baseball. It is regulation baseball with 9 endings, 3 strikes, you're out. They use their tails
referees,
to make the
dinosaur referees. Different teams with them painted or coated in different colors of dyes that they somehow did themselves. And that the humans somehow, and it's not to spoil anything, but they survive being batted by a dinosaur tail and sailing through the air, thousands of yards away to come back at the end conveniently to switch the tide of battle.
And they spent the time out there wherever they got batted to for years. Because Toka's dad.
Do you get the sense it's been years? I wasn't sure if it was months or years.
I'm assuming that Toka has that. I can't remember the other one's name. The Kola has usurped this for a while now because he has his people all over. So I'm assuming he's been out there with all these other, because everybody who's ever been batted a home run, all of them survived. All of them are out there beyond the field, just hanging out,
Now, apparently, they started with big clods of earth or something,
Yeah.
and then somehow Cola got them started on doing some kind of lottery to get rid of troublemakers, and including starting with the king or the leader of the tribe or whatever. We got some questions here. Understandably, we got some questions for this.
Oh yeah,
So,
I have questions too, but they weren't answered.
don't worry about the scans. Rob can fold all the pages back when they start coming up. No problem. Wow. Wow, David. Okay. Yeah, the war had just ended. Yeah, this was just a few months after the war when this one came out.
Yeah.
Maybe the stories were commissioned, when it was still happening. Yeah, I'll show some more illustrations later. I got a few more scans of different things. Yeah, the art does look cool.
The art is probably my favorite thing.
Yeah, the art was weird in some cases and good in some others. Sounds like you had it read an aspirin and need a nice lie down after the treatment of the media. Yes. Yeah, I think David went through something with people reactions to Stranger Things and the homophobia he encountered.
Oh,
so he's still a little gun shy about that probably, which was not sports ball. Yes, unfortunately.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Deep breaths law. These books are so old and fragile. They need love. Oh, give me that aspirin.
Oh.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, David. But
if this was any other of my pulps, I would be treating it with loving care.
I think because this is after reading the pulp and this is a 6. I don't know what you paid for it, Rob, but I think Nick paid 6 for mine. So
I think that's about all I paid.
Joe is here. Hi, Joe.
I can't remember. It was a whole lot. So.
Yeah, it's understandably priced.
No, Chadwick. The answer is no.
No, they didn't.
They cannot.
Nick asked what were the team's name. I believe it was they were yellows and the blues or something like that.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm sure you blocked it out somewhat because of the trauma there, but yeah, sounds great. Yeah, well, we'll get into it some more. This is why sci-fi.
Don't worry, Jake. It's on its way to you.
I came back to dinos playing. Yeah, I got some pictures of that later. I think from it. Maybe there is some form of baseball I could manage. Yeah, human cricket balls batted by dinosaur tails. Yes. Any symbolism? We'll talk about that. We're not quite sure if they're dino ice hockey. Yeah, we're not sure if it was tongue in cheek or serious. It's very, very odd, but. And it comes back here and there, but then things happen because Toka, there is a pretty cool dino fight early on. Doesn't look anything like the cover. It's described like a T-Rex, I think, or an Allosaurus or something, although none of those names are ever used. I first thought, Rob, that this was like going to be a post-apocalyptic thing, that the society...
Yeah,
because one of the characters says Jeepers.
Oh yeah, and then they've got other characters in there that are talking like 1930s hoods and stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some of the names. So we have our hero Toka, who does come back for subsequent stories. Yay! And we have his beloved Roya. Then there's Kola, the bad guy. There's Kagi, his scheming underling, second in command. There's Riso, Kola's hot sister that has the hots for Toka. And then we have the friends of, so we got some kind of, common ground with the nomenclature here, but all of a sudden we have Nula and Old Wula, and we have Rock, and we have Nikki. Nikki really fits in, Nikki with the Y. Doesn't that sound like a nice name to fit in there? Anyway, Toka and Rock have a fight with this dinosaur and kill it, or seemingly kill it. And that gets the ire of these dinosaurs, and they start smacking around at the base of this tiered city. And all the poor, downtrodden, oppressed people are down in the lower levels, including Roya, Toka's beloved. And there's some interesting political stuff and the rebellion stuff. Some of that's pretty interesting, and there's some exciting fight scenes here and there. But this story is a mess, frankly.
Yeah, so and if you got rid of the dinosaur baseball in the hands of a better writer, this probably could have been pretty interesting. But his writing, especially early on, drove me crazy. Like like instead of somebody having a long nose, they would have a longly nose. I don't know why he was turning everything into.
It was a weird mix of decent pulp writing and crap writing. It was very
I mean, the
very
fight
strange.
scenes were written pretty well, but
yeah, there's a real knockdown, drag out fight between the main baddie and Toka at the end, which is pretty good.
Although I did find it funny at some of the end fight scenes that it seemed like every other scene somebody was throwing a chair at somebody. There was a lot of
and
chair,
a sofa.
there was a lot of chair throwing.
And there's lots of, you want to talk about the berries, Rob? That was kind of weird, I thought.
Yeah,
I guess it's an interesting fantasy idea.
It starts off, they're out there trying to collect these berries. And they are putting them in their hair. They're not just
berries. Yeah.
No, but as far as we know in the beginning,
we can't tell
anything. It's not told in a logical order. So it's, they're collecting these berries, but they're putting them in their hair. And I'm like, they kept saying they're putting them on their head. They're putting them on their head. And I'm like, okay. So I was thinking
they're braiding them into their hair somehow.
So we find out that and then before we find that out, when Toka's heading back to the city, he has this secret cave where he's been storing these berries and weapons and everything else. Yeah. And we find out that people are trying to, these berries have powers that will make you super strong and give you all sorts of superpowers. And the reason they're putting them in their hair is they're trying to hide them to smuggle them back in. And because the Cola will have them confiscated because he's hoarding them. He's hoarding all these for himself.
He has a massive treasure vault.
Yeah. So we eventually find that out, but it was really confusing in the beginning.
I was confused too in the first several pages, but I was going along with it, and then eventually by about once we get the kind of central conflict becomes clear.
Yeah.
Because they really make the bad guys really vicious. I mean, they are pretty nasty, if not, particularly fleshed out or anything. Yeah. But they're pretty nasty. So that kind of makes a fun setup for this. But the story goes on and on and on.
Right? Oh yeah.
Here's them watching the dinosaurs getting PO'd and the big snakes, as they call them. Again, pretty cool art. This is my copy is not in great shape, so I was very gingerly trying to fold it out to be scanned. But I wanted to give the viewers some idea of the art that's in this thing. I think I have one more scan for this, but go ahead, Rob. Keep you want anything else that was bothering you about this story? I'm sure there were many things.
Well, but mostly just the writing itself, but and then like I said, the dinosaur games.
That's a real wacky part of it. I don't know. This one's
I think those were the two big ones, and then the fact that it got confusing because it kept making it seem like people were dying and nobody was actually dying except for
these berries have this kind of life-saving properties that can cause wounds to heal and
so when they at the end there, when all these people came out of the forest that had been batted out.
Oh, right. And, the baseballs, human baseballs.
And then the other thing that bothered me is they kept saying, because they had everything in place to go ahead for Toka to go ahead and revolt and take back the city. But for some reason they were waiting because they needed this sign for this plan.
Yeah, this some kind of superstition. The storm had to occur.
The storm had to occur.
Biding his time, and so was the author.
And so I kept thinking, okay, the storm is going to play some part in.
It doesn't really.
No, I mean, a storm happens, but it's raining.
I guess it kind of keeps the dinosaurs at bay for a little while.
And now that's the sign for everybody to get their arms and go and take the city. It's like, well,
it was a pretty exciting finale, but then we are ended with a weird ass old Walu, this kind of wise figure, Roya's grandfather, playing some goat horn, and
I blocked that.
The dinosaurs are smiling beatifically, and it calms them down.
When they're the dinosaurs are laying siege to the city, and
these
he
are
plays
human
a
names.
goat horn, and does the Pied Piper on them, and they quit attacking.
Wackadoodle. Chadwick wants to know if Palmer used a Boogle game to create these names. Boogle, Boggle? One of those. I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see. Hold on there. Okay. Throne chairs sounds like a Western. Yeah, there was a Western bar fight. I'm sure that there were some Western fighting influence there in the fight scenes. Snazberries. Hairberries. Yeah. So did I miss something? Oops, sorry. I missed, I got rid of the chat somehow. Hold on. Here we go. Did I miss something? Are the berries the way they survive being batted? No, that is a good question that is not covered. I guess we can assume so.
Well, they make it seem like most people don't have these berries, and
so they would. Yeah, rock would have been in weak shape when they batted.
So there's something how they get batted is the cola has these lotteries where the lotteries are always fixed and they're always rigged. So if there's somebody they want to get rid of, they magically lose the lottery. And
there's like a page later where Toka's trying to figure out this lottery machine,
and they throw, and that's how they get chosen for the baseball is they lose the lottery, so they send that person out to be the ball in the baseball game.
I was also under the understanding that somehow Cola, who finagled his way when Toka's dad was still in charge, into doing some kind of remodeling on his apartment, and did something where he could slip the guy secretly out down into the valley below. Or I don't think he was the victim of a lottery, was he? I can't quite recall that, but most of the other victims were, and Rock is the recent one who's batted away, and he had some berries before their fight, but he was pretty exhausted. He just said, I went slack and went with the flow.
That's how they survive, is going slack when they get batted by a dinosaur.
So yes, they somehow survived being batted. Whether they got berries later, Deb, to empower them enough to come back to join the pitched battle at the end, who knows? Baseball hair care. Yeah, we do get some other hair care products, and there's lots talking about the various attire of the ladies, how they wear kind of briefs but no tops quite often, it sounds like. And it's got some naked girl wrestling going on but there, and we some hot and heavy scenes, implied almost rape but not quite happening, the typical menace.
There are no answers, Nick. There are no answers.
Yeah, there's no way to answer it. There's no way to answer it. Yeah, mass hysteria, exactly. Yeah, that's basically what it is. I'm answering. The names are for humans. The dinosaurs did have team names, the yellows and the blues. Anyone else? Let's see. Okay, what else? I've been paying attention so I can answer most of the questions. Thank you. Appreciate that, David. They hide berries in their hair because the boss covets them. Yes, they're trying to pretend like they're weak, and then they came back without berries because when they enter the first tier so this is all in the early setup, they come back, the survivors come back, they stash the real berries out of their hair. Somehow these giant berries stick in their hair without being squished during this dinosaur fight, etc. And then they go back, and they're confronted by the goon squad that's working for Cola and Kagi. Yeah. And he brings back a dinosaur's tail for meat as kind of his appeasement to Cola, but he pretends that they didn't get any berries, so he can stash them separate for when they make this big rebellion at the end. So, It's all over the place. So it is basically pandemonium in this story, frankly. But so these berries are like spinach for Popeye. Yes, that is correct. It must have Yeah, maybe Gary Larson was inspired for this one. I wouldn't be surprised. The fact that the anthropomorphization, if I could say that correctly, is of the dinosaurs is one of the real oddities of this story. It kind of also makes it more memorable, maybe, but it does not.
It's definitely memorable.
It doesn't fit, that's for sure. How was this not made into a movie? Yeah, you kind of wonder about that. Spinach berries. I think Ringo Starr was in this movie. Yeah, Ringo Starr. What was that movie called? It was with
Caveman.
dinosaurs? Caveman. That's it.
Caveman.
With his wife Barbara Bach, right?
Yeah.
Not sure why I'm trying to make sense of this. Yeah.
Don't do it. You'll have an aneurysm if you try to make sense.
Don't try. Yeah. The humans and dinosaurs talk to each other. No talking, but there is the old guy at the end that Pied Pipers them later. But it seems like the dinosaurs talk amongst themselves, and they don't seem to prey on each other, weirdly enough. They seem to be palsy and kind of if they think one of this dinosaur is killed, and they kind of take it off to be buried, the ceremonial burial in the swamp ooze or whatever. And
they settle their differences on the field.
This is all one 75,000 word novel, and Rob and I read every stinking word of this thing, and I did not enjoy it. It's wacky. It's terrible in a way, and it's also awesome in a way. Yeah, so it is definitely not boring, Jake. I'll put it that way. So it's not the purple chair. No. If you read this, you wouldn't be bored, I don't think. It's not good necessarily, but it's, I love that the dinosaurs playing baseball shrugged off, but explain those. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're all right with the dinosaurs playing baseball, but what about these stupid berries? What's going on?
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but you can kind of go with it when they make enough is made of the berries that they make sense in the logic of the story.
Yeah.
The thing is, Rob and I were talking about this earlier. We were wondering if this was supposed to be on another planet. Is this supposed to be post-apocalyptic? Yeah. Or is this just supposed to be in the past? We have no idea, no clue.
Yeah. When it started, I thought it was in the past. And then when I got city and started talking about apartments and everything else, I thought, okay, maybe this is post-apocalyptic. And then the strange dinosaurs making chalk lines to make their fields with their tails. And that just... Yeah. I don't know.
Hey, good man. How's it doing? How's it going? Is this a post-apocalyptic dinotopia? Well, that's the thing. There's no clue that it's post-apocalyptic other than that one character says Jeepers. The two others talk like either mobster gunsels or whatever.
Yeah. You have people talking like almost like it's prehistoric, and you have other people talking like they're 30s mobsters, and I mean it's all over the place.
It's mostly written like sub-Burroughsian sort of, kind of royal coat, but it's also, hey boss, how you doing, boss? Thanks, boss.
Yeah, boss.
There's no interior logic really, or
boss wouldn't like it. I'd let you, but boss wouldn't like it.
Boss wouldn't like it. Yeah, and the girls are wrestling in one of the princess's apartment. There's no dinosaurs nearby, although they are restless outside. Sorry, Nick, they're not talking while they're doing that. Sorry. Let's see. We got some others down here. Let's see what else we got. So it's historical fiction. Okay, we got some funny things here. Yeah, Connor, you might get a kick out of this one. It is, like I said, it is available in a reproduced version of this pulp that probably is easy to handle without causing any damage, but I wouldn't recommend spending much money on it. This is what my teachers thought all SF was like. Yes. And, to be fair, from what I read about Fantastic Adventures, under Palmer's direction and editorship anyway, he wanted things, he said I want it bang, bang, bang. And if the story is slowing down too much, that's when a corpse needs to fall through the roof. Those are some quotes attributed to him. But apparently they started to lean into whimsy more. And that describes some of the stories later in this as well. So it's historical fiction. Yeah. Beast reads. And Parents thought this too. This is the era where every random unexplained region had at least one brontosaurus or T-Rex in it. Yeah, that's the thing, right? We just have no idea where this is supposed to be set. No. Turns out your teachers were right. Yeah, in this case, yeah, sure. Oh yeah, there's some cyclone happening over there. Batten down the hatches, whoever is there. Yeah, that was Roger Corman's filmmaking policy. Yeah, well, I could see this being made, like Glock had mentioned, into a cheesy 50s SF movie for sure. But is there anything else we want to say about this one, Rob, before we move on to the other stories?
I'm ready to
move on.
One. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
go. Anytime you want to talk about the little interstitial columns, please let me know, because I don't have any of those scans up. But the next story in order, I do believe, hold on, sorry if my thing is wiggling here. I need to get the next story up, and I think it's the what was it? The Through a Dead Man's Eyes, is that correct?
Yeah. Through a Dead Man's Eyes. That one is illustrated by William J. Brady.
And one last thing about King of the Dinosaurs, that final shot, picture I showed where Cola is throwing, turns out, his sister over at the end, because she plunged a knife in his back because he was trying to kill her. She has this thing for Toka, even though Toka's heart belongs to this other lady. Anyway, the caption attributes that as the hero throwing her off, which he does not do. It's obviously a mistake in the caption.
Yeah.
So this one, what was the connection between the grinning skull and a handful of damp leaves and moist earth? Not the most gripping byline there. By Jeff St. Renard. Now, I know that there's a lot of people using pen names. Do you know anything about this author, Rob?
That was a pen name for Robert Wilson Krebs, and I don't really know a whole lot about Krebs. So,
well, you want to take this one? Why don't you talk about this story?
Okay, so this one,
Rob.
This one was more, remind me more like a Weird Tales sort of story.
Very much.
So there is a, let's see who we have here. We have Dr. John Alex. He's the archaeologist, paleontologist in a museum and collects skulls. Our other main character is Ted O'Shantos, who has never had to work. He's sort of a rich boy, and he's an enthusiast in sorcery and the occult, but is not the brightest tool in the shed.
No, and neither is our main character.
No, that's a
writer, right?
Yeah, Randall Fox, or Rand Fox, who is a poor down and out writer, and he earns his living from renting out one of these to the Ted, who is the wannabe occultist. And so Ted wants to make this thing called the necromask, which is made from a human skull lined with velvet and inscribed with some Faustian pentagram. And he tells Rand Fox, the writer, about that. And that night, Teddy tries to make one of these by going out to a graveyard with a shovel and digging up a skull. Isn't
it one of the... Oh, sorry, I'm cutting you off. Yeah, go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
So
there's two skulls eventually, right?
Yeah, but first he tries to dig one up out of a graveyard, and it didn't work. The spell didn't work, and he comes and he tells Ran about this. So Ran is upset. He's taking Ran to the graveyard to try and figure out why it didn't work, and then once Rand figures out what he's done, that he's been robbing grave, he chastises him and tells him, you go to jail for this. So, but then the Teddy figures out that the gravestone that he dug up, the person that he dug up was blind, and that's why he couldn't see anything when he put on the mask. This other archaeologist at this museum has these other skulls, two skulls. And so our occultist goes in there and tries and steals the two skulls and goes to after they're stolen, that Dr. Alex John visits the writer and questions him about it. Rand knows from the night before who did it, who stole the skulls. So he goes to Teddy's house and confronts him about it. And Teddy confesses. He says, he can have one of the skulls back, but I didn't use that one. But the other skull, I made a necromask out, and it works. And
you should try it.
You should try it on.
Big mistake.
And for reasons, who knows?
But this is where the story kind of comes alive, though. Really.
Oh yeah. That's when it starts getting good. When he does put on the mask, he starts seeing the final days through this other man's eyes, who was
somewhere in the Middle East, and he's killed. Sheikh's son or something. And
he got in a street fight with the Sheikh's son and killed him, and now the Sheikh and all his guys are after him and chasing him across the land and into the woods somewhere.
Yeah.
And
so what did you think of this one, Rob?
Well, I read this right after reading King of the Dinosaurs.
So in comparison.
So really, I could have read the back of a cereal box and I would have given it 5 stars at that point.
It wasn't that bad. Pelkey's writing wasn't that bad.
But no, this was enjoyable. I mean,
it's not bad. Like you say, it's kind of like an average run-of-the-mill Weird Tales kind of story.
Yeah.
It's well written enough. Yeah. It's good.
The writing was definitely pretty good.
The writer took off at the end when he's describing what Rand is feeling and experiencing through this necromask.
Yeah,
as being pursued.
Just the prose itself was a huge improvement. I mean, some of the motives of the writer and the other one were a little questionable, but that's all right. I mean, it's
Let's catch up with some comments here. My guest think had a dinosaur in it in the 70s, yeah? Or was that a tiger in my tank, right? Eriko, cool. Okay, here we got Chadwick. Yeah, put the guy who collects skulls together with the not all that smart wannabe sorcerer. And please be the skulls of the characters from the first story. Yeah, it could have been, but it wasn't, as it turned out. And we forgot, we mentioned it, but we didn't talk about it fully, but that the Toka character from King of the Dinosaurs, good old J.W. Pelkey, pseudonym for Ray Palmer, does return in 2 more pulps. I believe the next one is the following year. Is that right, Rob? In 46, I think.
I'm not sure what year it is. I know that I own one of them, Toka and the Big Cats.
Toka and the Big Cats was the last one, which I think was 47, and then there was one in 46 that's Toka and the Man Bats.
I don't think I have that one, but I do have the third Toka story.
And we should also say that Fantastic Adventures ran for about 120. I had conflicting info, Rob, 126 or 129 issues, one of the two, before it was folded. But and then I think they started another title. Ziff Davis started Fantastic, and that took over from Fantastic Adventures, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, we have Saint Renard, as in the trickster fox. Okay, I think I've caught up with the comments. I don't think I've forgot anybody. I hope I didn't miss anyone here. Okay, well, yeah, I thought the story was okay, not bad, coherent enough, and kind of typical Weird Tales type pulpy story. Not bad at all. Our next one, let me pull up. If I got this right, I hope I got the next one here. This is the Fingerprints of Fear. Is that right? Or Bag and Baggage? Which one is the next
I had Bag and Baggage as being
okay. Yeah, that's right. Here we go. Which is pretty cartoony art. So who did the art on this one, Rob?
That was Rob Ruth.
Rob Ruth. And the story's by William Lawrence Hamling. And this is just this is the shortest one in this issue, I think.
Yeah, and who is it? So, well, I'll get into that later about these authors. There's some interconnections between this author, Hamling, and the next one, Richard Casey, who is also a pen name.
This is not the Hamling that ran the porno book empire that was funding some of Palmer's later. Is it him?
That is him.
Wow. Well, we'll talk about that later. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, we got Nick's ears perked up now for Sleaze books.
Oh yeah. Yeah, him and he married the widow of the next writer. Wow. So Xerxes, who is going by I think the name Casey in this magazine.
Was it Xerxes? Xerxes? Yeah, that's
Xerxes. Xerxes. I don't know. So his wife was named Frances, and when Leroy Xerxes died, Hamling married his former wife, and then together they built the adult.
I forgot the name of his publication, his publishing company that put out these Sleaze books.
The magazine was called Rogue.
Rogue, that's right. It's kind of
magazine.
Playboy rival.
Yeah. And then later
he also
on,
started doing porn books too. Kind of, I'm sure they were soft porn.
Yeah. Right after that, he did the erotic paperback, and he went on trial for violating obscenity laws.
And Shaver, the aforementioned Shaver, was involved, and they kind of taught, as well as Palmer slightly, because they were kind of puppet on the board of this company or something. Yeah. It's very confusing, and we don't want to bore people with it, but it's very interesting. I didn't know that was him. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's the same one.
Very strangely incestuous sort of publication history in this magazine.
Now, to be fair, he didn't marry Xerxes' wife until a couple of years after he died.
Okay,
he died.
Well,
so it wasn't like they were, as far as we know, wasn't having an affair with her while.
Let's don't tar the guy's name too much.
Yeah,
he was involved in any of that. I'm sure his supposed porn books were pretty mild by today's standards, but. Okay, so I'll talk about this story briefly, I guess. It's kind of a little, it's not an EC tale exactly. It's kind of very EC type of Tales from the Crypt sort of thing, but it's kind of unnecessarily cruel, I thought, to the central character. But it's about a woman who's gained weight, and her husband's very mean to her, and he calls her his bag, like she's an old bag or whatever.
Yeah,
and treats her really verbally abusive to her, and she still loves him though. And then an old gypsy woman comes by for a drink of water, and seems like you think it's going to go one way, where she's going to help this Dolly is her name, get revenge on her creep husband. But no, it doesn't quite work out that way. It takes the title a little literally there. So the husband gets what's coming to him, which is nice. But what happens to Dolly is cruel and kind of vicious, I thought.
This one, it was a bit confusing as to what why the author would do that, and why this gypsy, their words, not mine, would she received this act of kindness in return.
Yeah, so you thought she was going to give her an act of kindness back.
It felt like it was all just a setup so they could do this sort of half-assed joke of.
Yeah, it was kind of
the end.
They were trying to make the title literal.
Yeah,
it wasn't a great story. It wasn't poorly written or anything, but
no,
it wasn't also outstandingly written.
Yeah.
Let me see if we got some more in the chat. Let's see what Deb says. I really like that image. Subtleties to it, contrast between the two figures. You're talking Bag and Baggage, Deb, the cartoony wife and the more serious old gypsy lady. Okay, we have someone, Bike BRH. Welcome. Thank you very much for stopping by. It's interesting to stumble across this. It doesn't look like he was in this issue, but my great uncle Don Wilcox is one of the most prolific and well-loved authors for Fantastic and Amazing back then. Great. Yeah. Don Wilcox is a name I saw a lot when I was looking through the covers.
Yeah.
Google images.
Yeah, I'm
You know
pretty
anything
sure
about
I
Don
have some issues.
Wilcox?
I don't know much about him, but I believe I have some of the issues that he's in. So I have a lot of the Fantastic Adventures pulp. So
Well, if I ever get enough, if you ever come across the other one that I have, then we'll from the Howard Brown age, where supposedly the content was a little higher class.
Yeah.
Well, that's very cool that your uncle was Don, a great uncle was Don Wilcox. Yeah, I've seen his name on a lot of these issues, and that I've seen online, and would like to read some of his work, but I don't think I have. Ariana says the story sounds really dark, but the artwork almost has a comical edge. Had a comical edge, yes.
And I think it was trying to have a comical edge at that end, but it didn't fit.
It just came off as
it just came off as kind of cruel.
Yeah. So I don't have much more to say on that one.
Nah.
We have two more stories, and I think these two are the best in the issue, in my opinion. What do you think, Rob? The last two we haven't talked about yet.
Yes, I agree.
So let me pull up Fingerprints of Fear, if I can. I think it's this one. Let me see.
Yeah.
No, sorry. I stupidly did not assign names to these. I just had video or image files. So I have to go by memory of the placement of where I put them. So I think this is it. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
That is it.
You want to take this one, Rob? You want to talk about this one by Richard Casey? Is this a pen name also? Is this?
Yes, this is a pen name. In fact, the next two stories that we have were both written by the same person.
That's why they were good.
Yeah. Leroy Yerkes.
Okay. This is the one who passed away and his widow married Hamlet, the guy who wrote the previous story. Interesting.
Yes. So we used to do this all the time because they were getting a penny a word. They had to get as many stories in as they could. So a lot of times an author would get 2 or 3 stories in by using a pen name because you didn't want to have the same author in twice. So
I think
didn't Robert Silverberger have one where he was almost the entire contents page under different pen names? Yeah, and and Henry Kuttner and C.L. Moore did that all the time. You'd see an issue that had a Henry Kuttner story, a C.L. Moore Courtney, and a Paget story, and both of them were working on all 3 stories, and they'd be in the same magazine. So,
do you know who did the art for this one?
This was Dunkley. No info on Dunkley.
Oh yeah, you guess you can see his name down on the bottom.
Yeah, just last name. So
this is a story that I think Nick would like.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of noirish, I guess. Go ahead, please, Rob. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
So excuse me, talking too much. Okay, so Walter Peterson is our main character, and he wakes up tied to a bed in a rundown apartment. His 2 coworkers, Warren and Peter, are pouring gasoline over him and throughout the entire apartment. And we find out that all 3 of these worked as insurance agents. And
Peterson's the boss, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Or I'm not sure if he's the boss, but they were all 3 working in the insurance field. And they have a flashback as this is going on. Walter has a flashback of a conversation that they had months earlier where the other 2 men were discussing how they could take out an insurance policy on one of them and get away with murder and collect this big payout, supposedly joking around about it. And then we flash back to the present and and they burn him. I mean, our lead character gets burned to death. He dies in it. But then his ghost sort of hovers above him and
takes revenge.
The whole burning alive scene I thought was written really well.
It was very. It wasn't like gruesome, but it was.
No,
intense.
but Yeah, it was psychologically gruesome, even if it wasn't,
Yes. Yeah, the whole concept was
explicit.
terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible way to go.
Yeah, so he ends up killing these guys, and the corpses, the guys were checked out, the corpses have soot smudges on them, on their necks, and they have these seared lungs that are filled with smoke.
Yeah, his spirit kind of goes in and burns them from the inside.
Burns them from the inside out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a good revenge ghost story.
Yeah.
All right.
And then he's thinking that he's going to, as he's looking down at he gets revenge, and the cop's looking at the last body, and of the last and the worst of the killers. And then rain is starting to fall, and this Peterson's ghost is thinking he could go out to the rain swept street and get kind of melted away and continue on to his next phase, whatever that is. Yeah. It did draw you in. Yeah. Way to open a story. Bang, opens his eyes. He's tied to the bed, soaked in gasoline. Oh, yeah. So, and you thought maybe for a little while he might try to get out of it, but no.
Yeah, that's where I thought it was leading up to that. But yeah,
Chadwick says that sounds right up my alley. Yeah, this was I think about a 3,400 page story, and it got right down to business. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was this had a very much of a Tales from the Crypt kind of EC vibe, didn't you think? Although it was well written, I thought. Yeah, not that those aren't, but
this was done good.
Yeah. And so was the next one, which, as it turns out, was from the same writer, Yerkes or Yerkes or whatever.
Yeah, Leroy
Yerkes. Is that what it is?
Yerxas. Yes.
Oh, it was X. I thought it was K. Okay. And so that leads us to the next one, Dummy of Death, which also gets a credit on the cover. Yeah. And this one, I don't know. Do you think that's a decent depiction of what was his name? Delroy? What was it? Was it? No, it was Delbert. Sorry, Delbert.
Yeah. I think I forgot to write down this. That was Rod Ruth again.
Rod Ruth. Okay. Yeah, you can see the similarity there. So Delbert was large for a dummy, large enough to turn the tables and put Johnny Orchid, the ventriloquist, on his lap in their unusual act. Now, this is a 10,000 word novelette, and it was also pretty good. It's a weird story, but again, I thought it was pretty good. What did you think, Rob?
French Affair was probably my favorite, but this was done really well.
I removed you again instead. Sorry about that. Okay.
Oh, that's all right.
You want to say that over again? Sorry, that Fingerprints of Fear was your favorite?
I think that one was my favorite, but this one was done really well. I think my only drawback to it is I've seen these ventriloquist dolls come to life stories so many times. I'm sure that it was probably much newer back when this was written.
Yeah, 45. Let's see. This would have been after they had that famous was after the famous British film, the portmanteau film. I can't think of the name right now. What is that? It had the Charters and Caldecott golfing story, but it had the famous dummy story. It had Michael Redgrave with the dummy. I can't think of the title right now. Chadwick, help us out. You'll know this one. It's a very famous British. I think Criterion released this. I think it was before this, but yeah, there must have not been too many of these stories at this stage. It was before the Twilight Zone did a couple, and it was before Magic, the film Magic with Perkins.
But I thought it was written well. I've seen other versions of it, and I've seen other versions of it done better. But it was entertaining.
Yes, the voodoo or Haiti angle was interesting. Yeah. It was Haiti, right? So apparently the main character, Johnny Orchid, is an anthropologist or archaeologist or something.
He is a historian, archaeologist, science enthusiast.
Okay.
Who also earns his money by being a ventriloquist.
Dead of Night. Thank you, Chadwick. Dead of Night. That's it. Thank you.
Okay.
Dead of Night, which I'm sure Rob has seen. Dummy of Death. I think I worked with him. Yep. But good one. Yeah, we all worked with some dummies for sure. Yeah. So Johnny Orchid was doing some dig or something in Haiti, and he found this god statue or something. And he, for whatever weird reason, he needed some money. He brought it back to the States with him, and he started a ventriloquist act with this giant thing where he would have it originally sitting suspended from the rafters of the stage, and so it looked like it was on his lap, although it wasn't actually on his lap. And he's got a understanding of a possible fiance situation with the woman who works as an assistant for her brother's magic act. I think her name's Joan, is that right? And she has a twin sister. And weird things, weird deaths start happening, and all of a sudden one night Delbert takes over control, and Johnny realizes with horror that he is not actually in control of his voice, and it's actually Delbert the dummy who's doing it. And someone says in the audience, why don't you make it rain? And so Delbert does make it rain in the audience. And so Johnny Orchid's thinking, oh God, I'm going to get fired. I need this money to finance more expeditions to Haiti. But then the manager comes in and says, go back on stage. It's a hit. This journalist has written a story about it. You got to do that again. And so then Delbert starts walking around and moving on his own and starts killing people is basically where we're at there.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Rob? What's your take on this one?
Like I said, I mean, the writing was well done. It's just I've seen just versions of this done so much better. I still think Fingerprints of Fear was probably my favorite. And then what was the first one after that? Through a Dead Man's Eyes. I think
Through a Dead Man's Eyes.
But
I like this one, but it was well written, kind of, but it wasn't, like you say, it wasn't blastingly original or anything.
No.
Any other thoughts? Not much on this one. Basically, Johnny is to try to save. The dummy wants to use Johnny, as his voice and go back to Haiti. And he's killing anyone who he feels is, almost treating Johnny like a pet, it seems like. And then so he tried to kill the fiance, but got the sister instead. Seems to have tore her head off or something. That was a pretty gruesome scene. And then there's a big fire at the end where they managed to try to, to destroy the dummy, and somehow everything's fine between the girl who was the next target and Johnny. And anyway,
and her dead, even though her sister was killed.
Her sister was killed by his dummy, and anyway, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Okay. The overall thoughts of this issue, Rob, was this a pleasant reading experience for you? Were you happy you did this?
Well, I'm happy I did it.
Just happy to never read it again, right?
But but yeah, that big story was, like I told you earlier, it was painful to get through, because you got to the point where you thought you were finally getting done with it, and then it says continued on page such and such, and you go, oh Christ!
We should say that it ends at like page 60 something, and then it says continued on page 120 or something, and then it goes for another 50 plus pages.
Yeah. So,
Gasoline Man wins out over Dummy Man. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, that story was short and to the point, and probably is the best story in there. But the Dummy story was fine. Dummy of Death was fine.
Yeah.
You want to talk about any of the kind of other little contents that we have? I'll pull up the contents page again, and some of the small little columns, I guess they are regular columns.
Yeah, these were just history and little science technology things. So they had an article on Tycho Brahe, and then they started talking about a new product in concrete that will extend the life of concrete. And
and these were all in really small print. and
Yeah,
single
they're
space.
tiny little 2 or 3 paragraph interstitial just in between the stories. Um, uh, an article on hysteria or blindness about how alpha brainwaves can show if someone is actually blind or just faking it. Seems like there's got to be an easier way.
Yes.
um,
Vignettes of famous scientists. Wasn't
yeah,
there something about Copernicus in there, or Tycho or something?
Tycho Brahe. They had one on Tycho Brahe, and
Leif
then
Erikson.
Leif Erikson, and then they were talking about the girdles for battleships. That was interesting for World War II, where the Luft mines that the Germans were using, and how they what was it? They created this sleeve over the ships that would reverse the hull's magnetic field, because that's how these Luft mines worked, or these like torpedoes that would sink to the bottom of the water, and when a ship would pass over them when they were in such distance,
Come back up.
they would come back up and attach to the ship.
So these
And
girdles
that would set 'em
were
off.
kind of shielding the ship.
Yeah, it was like degaussing the ship to reverse the magnetic field so it wouldn't trigger the mines, which I found that one to be interesting. I didn't know about that.
How about plywood in science?
And then
So exciting.
Plywood.
Remarkable Beliefs was okay.
Yeah. The and don't forget the buy war bonds article. There's a page in there that told you to. It wasn't an article; it was just an ad saying to buy war bonds.
I forgot that one.
Yeah.
Stories of the Stars was about the Andromeda Galaxy. I don't remember the Romance of the Elements. What was that one about?
That is the one about tin.
That's one that had some pretty cool art.
Yeah, that was the art by, again, Rod Ruth and also Gordon MacLean.
And then, even though it's let's talk about the readers page. That was pretty interesting. Let me remove this here from and not you. I'm doing the right one this time. It puts this in your position. That's why I was sometimes getting the wrong one. The readers page was interesting because there was a couple of detailed letters from readers. One who was they were talking about it earlier issues stories. I liked the story, but there was all sorts of he was obviously a former Air Force pilot, or knew something about the planes that were in the previous story, and that the dogfight was at the wrong height, and it was the wrong kind of planes. And then Palmer comes back, if it is him writing the response, say, this was top secret at the time we were in the war. And, most of the articles were, most of the letters, were, finding some nitpicky, technical problems.
Yeah, and Palmer would fix that in a few years.
Yes.
When he started to learn how to write his own letters to the editor.
Yes, exactly.
In place of actual letters.
Although I don't know if he did that. I didn't find out if he did that much in Fantastic Adventures, but he certainly did it.
That I don't know. Yeah, in Amazing Stories, he definitely did.
Well, the interesting thing too is the contents page says about something by J. Allen St. John, the artist, on page 179. And page 179, can you show that, Rob? That's the inside flap of the back cover.
Yeah, this will drive David crazy, but
yeah, watch out, Garage Geek. Yeah, so some kind of lost civilizations, which is just finding some kind of strange in some cliffs in Oregon. I don't remember hearing about these before.
No, this is
they mentioned Oregon, didn't they?
Yeah, the cliffs in Oregon, and this is going back to the Richard Shaver type tie-in to what would become the Richard Shaver stories, because the first Richard Shaver story was Lemuria, And I
Right.
can't. There's something about Lemurian, and you can see that that's what he's calling this land of
Right.
these translations of the writings hint at a
So we did get
lost
some
race.
shaver mystery stuff in this after all, in kind of a
Yeah.
backhanded way.
Yep.
Well, Nick says, I love the dinosaur baseball story. Pulp is all my fault. You're both welcome. Actually, it was a lot of fun, Nick. So, and it was great it's great to have some of these old pulps. You know, it was, okay. The ship girdles are interesting. Reading about World War II U-boats at the moment. Oh, interesting. Yeah, not bad. Everything's attached. So David's giving you a pass for that one, I guess. Chadwick, let's see. Lost Civilizations. Always fun to uncover how many of the readers were Palmer. Yeah. I think because of the nature of these letters, they weren't, because they were complaints mostly. They weren't complaints about the story so much, although one sounded like a young kid wrote in and said, the stories were not half bad or something like that.
Yeah.
Not very bad. He said they weren't very bad.
Yeah, I don't think Palmer
praise.
wrote into letters for this one.
No. I would be happy to read more of these, although I imagine there's some with better stories. We should say that, again, I can't vouch for the quality of them either, but another Burroughs pastiche by Robert Moore Williams, who wrote John Gore, the first John Gore story, and maybe the other ones were published in Fantastic Adventures a little earlier. So this is the return of John Gore, and when they were issued in paperback in the 60s, I think. But I'm pretty sure from some of the covers I did, and I highly encourage anyone who's interested to check out, put into Google Images, Fantastic Adventures covers, and you'll see some pretty amazing art. There's some wild, crazy stuff. Very cool.
And I believe most of this stuff is available on Internet Archives on most of these old pulps. So if people want to read them and not actually spend money, you can go to Internet Archives.
I don't feel bad for spending $6. That's pretty good.
If you want to physically hold in your hand, you'll have to print it out. But
yeah. And like I said, this one is available on like a print-on-demand reproduction service called Lulu. If you go through lulu.com and search Fantastic Adventures, this one, among others, several others, is there. Although you'd have to pay anywhere from $12.95 to $20.95, and I don't think it's worth that price by any stretch. So, but it was a lot of it was enjoyable. I was glad to read it, and I think, did we mention this in the chat? I don't know if we did, Rob, but I did some calculations on this, because these are double column pages on the word counts of the stories in the novel alone. If this was put in a paperback, it'd be about 300 pages possibly, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crammed full of text, so not even counting all the other little columns and things. But I don't know, will you read another one of these, Rob? What do you think?
Oh yes. Yeah, I will. I mean,
you have the one with the giant ape on the cover, looking at the cars like Tonka trucks in front of it. Nick has that one, and it looked pretty cool.
I don't know. I would have to look through them all and see. I have all sorts of binders of old pulps, and probably a lot of them are Fantastic Adventures and Fantastic Mysteries, just because those are ones that are more affordable. I would love to have Andrea's collection of weird tales, but I don't have that kind of scratch. So
no, that's Andrea's using her government money I think, to acquire some pretty good things. her city government money or whatever it is. I don't know, but I don't want to put aspirations on her that aren't true. But definitely, those ones get very expensive.
Oh yeah,
I'm just glad to have a few pulps. It's just cool to have. I probably actually prefer to read pulp stories in paperback form, where I'm not worried about, damaging the pulp while I read it. But the fact that we actually read a physical copy of a pulp is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I enjoy doing that, and you're going to run into a lot of garbage, but that's true with anything.
It's true of any pulp, isn't it?
When you do that with paperbacks, I mean, how many are going to be 5-star stories? But it's always those little stories here and there, like Fingerprints of Fear, that I would have never found had we not done this. And I really
And
enjoyed that one. So,
and for all its faults, King of the Dinosaurs is one for the record books
oh
anyway. I
yeah,
mean, just
if nothing else, it provided me hours of entertainment talking to Mrs. Elspace about the dinosaur baseball game.
first I was going, this Pelkey guy is not all this editor is cracking him up, cracks him
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
now to find
So-
out that the editor is the one who is actually
Yeah.
writing it.
So did you not get Edgar Rice Burroughs vibes off of Pelkey?
I got sub Rice Burroughs vibes, sub Ray Cummings vibes, sub Otis Adelbert Klein vibes, but yeah, you know, that's one thing you could say. Whatever you can say about Burroughs, and you know, Burroughs is by no means the world's best writer, but the guy could tell a rattling yarn. The guy could add interior logic to his stories, for the most part, and kept things couched in the consistent language that fit with the whole thing. So what is this? Luminist Archives has a lot of pulp magazines. Luminist Archives. It's not L Space. Luminist Space Archives. No, you have to click on the text under the images to download the PDF. So that's cool. That's good information. Thank you, Eriko.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, judging from some of the later era Fantastic Adventures after when Brown took over and Palmer left, sounds like quite a few good stories. The ratio of good stories and more science fantasy, because I think this was definitely a science fantasy sort of mag, right? So
This had a little bit of everything in there.
I'm tempted to read this one at some point. So if you ever give this one, or
let me see what that one is.
This is the May 51 Invasion from the Deep.
Oh,
that
I
Nick
don't think
found for me from the Bookery. Is that right, Nick? Is that what the place is called? That where the owner does the does the pulp. Stay there. Okay, that's okay if that falls. But where the guy does the pulp pricing guide, I believe, right?
Yeah, I'll need at some point. I'll need to send a list over of. I'll have to make a list. Send a list over what I have, and we can see if there's any others that we can cross section on.
Yeah, because this was a fun project. I'm glad you joined in.
Oh yeah.
Well, do you have anything that's coming up, Rob, that you want to talk about? Or I know you've got a live stream with the Ebes next week.
Next Saturday over on Nick's channel. Going to be doing Bob Shaw's Night Walk, and I'm not going to say anything about this yet, but I do like Bob Shaw. So, and then recently I got through reading Frederick Brown's What Mad Universe. This was amazing. I love that. And I'm getting ready to read another Frederick Brown, The Fabulous Clip Joint. So,
I've definitely heard of that one, and that's a fantastic cover. You got some really awesome crime pulpish crime noir books in your recent hauls.
And then I'm also going to be. This is just a chat book, but it's Tanith Lee's Unsilent Night.
Oh, nice.
And this was put out by Nesfa Press in '81. There's only like 1,000 copies made. It was for their what they call it, their BossCon convention. That
they didn't bother with the cover illustration. I guess they were keeping the cost down. I guess.
Yeah, there were only 1,000 copies made just for the science fiction convention there, and it marked the first time that Tanith Lee was asked to be a guest of honor at a sci-fi convention. So that was to mark that.
You don't have a complete Tanith Lee, but you have maybe you do have a complete. You have a lot of Tanith Lee, right? You have complete.
I have everything Tanith Lee has ever put into print, with the exception of the 2 screenplays for the 2 episodes of Blake 7 that she wrote, and I don't think those exist in physical form.
I didn't know she wrote spec scripts for Blake 7. Wow.
She wrote the episodes Sarcophagus and Sand.
Oh, she actually wrote. Oh, she did write. I was not aware of that. I'm a Babylon 5. I'm a Blake 7 fan, but I didn't. Is that one of the later seasons, later series?
believe there's, I
When
believe it's season
Avon's
4.
taken over.
I believe it's season 4. Yeah.
I've heard good things about Sand. Is that the one where Servalan
Yes.
and Avon are kind of? It's like a double act kind of there.
Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah,
Well,
Sarcophagus and Sand are her 2 episodes that she wrote, and I tried to find the scripts for them online, because I've done that with a few others. Like I have a Theodore Sturgeon original production script from when he wrote Amok Time and Shore Leave episodes, and I was trying to find the ones for Tanith Lee, but unfortunately the BBC did not hold on to their scripts the way Paramount did.
No. Although you'd be surprised how many are in the archives for Doctor Who. They wiped a lot of the tapes, but a lot of the scripts are in the archives, and they get onto these Blu-ray sets as PDFs.
And Tanith Lee also wrote a spec script for Doctor Who, but it got rejected, so it never got made. It never got produced. Her and Christopher Priest both wrote spec scripts for Doctor Who.
Yeah, it's that's a whole other can of worms, the BBC's treatment of shows and scripts and things. Yeah. But well, that's awesome. So you're going to be talking about that chapbook then in a future video, you think? Or you just read
it's got 2 short stories in it, and then some of her unpublished poetry is in there. But
well, I like that Tanith Lee's starting to get some more and Ursula K. Le Guin both getting a bit more love on BookTube recently. So
yeah, I've never read anything by her that wasn't just beautifully written. It's some of the most beautiful prose I've ever seen.
I don't have any other than that her story in Amazons. I don't think I have, and some other short stories I have of hers in various collections. I don't think I have any of her standalone works, so I need to remedy that in the future. Well, what I'm working on, I just finished Way Station by Clifford D. Simak on ebook. I read City last year, and as you might remember, it was in my top, towards the top of my list for favorite reads last year. And Way Station may make it up there. I really was impressed with it. I'm still kind of cogitating over the rather, I wouldn't say abrupt, but events come to a head quickly in that novel at the end. And it's a very philosophical novel, so I was very impressed with it overall, but I need to kind of cogitate upon it for a bit to finalize my thoughts on it. But I enjoyed it a lot. I finished Fantastic Adventures. I've read several stories in Weird Frequencies. Put the pulp where it's safe so David doesn't get angry at me. So yeah, I've read Jake's story, which is fantastic. I've read Joseph's story, which was really great. And I read Tim's story, which was a lot of fun. So I've enjoyed those 3. I still have the rest to get through.
It's a fun read.
And it's rare for me to read an anthology all the way straight through. So I'm spacing it out a little bit, but I'm hoping to finish it this month. I have 2 copies of James Blish's There Shall Be No Darkness. I'm going to be talking about that with the boys from Check Your Shelf next week.
Nice.
We're recording anyway next week. I don't know when that will air. And I'm reading some Robert E. Howard. I just read yesterday Shadow of the Vulture. I think Tim talked about this one in the past. This is the Red Sonja story, the historical adventure, and it was fantastic. And I'm going to read the 2 Dark Agnes stories and Jarrell of Jory for an upcoming project that I'll talk more about soon. I bid on the auction I did a while ago. I bid on the paperback Jarrell of Jory, but I lost that bid. But Galant's put out this, without even a table of contents, Rob, but it's a nice paperback. They also did that for her Northwest Smith stories, which I do have a collection of her Northwest Smith stories. But so that's kind of what I'm working on right now. It's been fun reading so far. So let's see. We got some comments. Okay. This was a blast of coolness. Had a blast. Thank you very much, Chadwick. And Nick was confirming the Bookery is where he got my pulps that he sent me, and where he gets a lot of his, and that Tim Cottrell, the owner or manager maybe, does the Pulp Price book. Deb, Unsilent Night, not a single one on the internet for less than $75. You are a true magician.
I'm pretty good at finding. I'm stubborn, and can usually find deals on things.
That's good.
Patience.
You and Andrea are good at sussing that stuff out. My sister and I were just looking at On Silent Night this morning. And Mark Glock loves I Love Waystation, and now he wants coffee. Ah, yeah. I didn't get your when I said I was reading it and you made that remark, Mark. I knew it must be a tie-in to Waystation, but I didn't get it. Now I do get it. Ulysses and his love is the one good thing that Earth culture has produced, according to the alien Ulysses in that novel. Yeah. Simak is something. I'm going to have to get a hold of some more of his work. I have previously been mostly familiar with his later career fantasy work. And I did finally dig out Macedonia. I do have a science fiction. I have some kind of book club copy, hardback copy, and I couldn't find it when I was looking for it earlier, but I found it now. So I might give that a read this year too. Anyway, Rob, this has been a long one. I appreciate you sticking in here with me and everyone else who was watching. How'd it go for your first live stream? Did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah. I survived without crapping myself, so that's a good.
No, you did. You did very well. Yeah. Oh, we have a question here for you before we go. Did you get an Australian thank you card? Pretty sure I sent it.
I have not got it yet, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it could take a while.
Yeah, our mail between Australia and here and opposite is
same with forever. Japan. Yeah, I ordered a while back. I ordered the end of November 30th. I ordered a Commandy, the first Commandy Last Boy on Earth trade paperback, and it was through a Japanese Amazon, but it was sent out of Oregon by a company, and it never came. So they were very nice and they refunded me, but I was wanting that damn thing, so not happy about that. Thanks,
I can't remember what it was. There was some book that I ordered from Australia, which is not cheap to do, but it took. I didn't get it for like 6 months later before I got it.
Wow.
So I don't know. I don't know what roundabout route it took, or
you wouldn't think a card would be that much.
I wouldn't think so.
But hopefully it'll show up.
Yeah.
And that was a really nice package you sent Deb, and I have never seen her happier in a video before. Her eyes were lit up like a kid at Christmas when she was pulling all those books out.
Deb deserves it. There's hundreds of books here on my shelf that I have because of recommendations from Deb. She has amazing taste in books. So
she reads so much and reviews so much.
Yeah.
It's just that some stuff seems to be hard for her to come by in Australia. So that was really cool. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Eriko. That's very, very nice of you. And we are glad you were here. And Deb also, thank you. And Ariane, great job, Rob. This was fun.
Thank you, Ariane.
Thank you for stopping by. This might be I'm not sure if this is the first time Ariane's popped on my channel. If it is, thank you. Welcome. And if it isn't, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. And thanks for the others who popped in. And if they're still listening or not, I don't know. But thanks to everybody for watching. And I had a lot of fun having Rob on. I'm really excited to see what you come up with next. Thanks for at Bike BRH for talking a little bit about your great uncle who was involved with this. Yes, Jeff, glad to be here. Thank you. And hope we'll see you again. Ariane and everyone else, thanks so much. Hope you have a great rest of the weekend. And it's Sunday midday here in Japan. Cold wind blowing, sunny weather, some clouds, so it's nice. And I don't know how it must be, about pushing 9 o'clock where you are, Rob?
That seems right.
Well, thanks a bunch. We'll wrap this up. Otherwise, I'll continue to jibber jabber for too long. And we'll just finish up with Joe saying fun stream. It was fun for me. Hope Rob had fun too. And thanks everyone for watching. And we'll see you later.
It's just great to be able to finally talk real time with you instead of the delay of email. So
same here, although you're pretty fast email response. So I appreciate that. Well, anyway, we'll say goodbye for now. We'll do this again for sure. Thank you, everyone. We'll talk to you later. Have a great one. Bye-bye.